Tom, if I said to you right now, who's your celebrity crush? Who's top of mind for you?
Readers at home, are you familiar with a very good-looking man called Cillian Murphy?
It's Killian.
Killian?
But yes,
I will call him anything, and he can call me anything, and I want to hold him and him hold me, and oh, what a good-looking man that is. And
He's pretty poker straight, Tom. So.
I've always, as am I. I'm 99% straight, but that man does it for me. Good Lord. What about you, Liz?
Nice.
What are you?
Brett Goldstein, hands down.
Can you remind me of who this man is?
So Ted Lasso, he plays Roy Kent.
Right.
But what I love about him the most is that he is also a writer, and I am a writer, and he writes Ted Lasso, and he also swears a lot like me.
Just the good-looking man.
He's my fucking husband, and he doesn't know it, and I don't like everything I watch him do. I am obsessed with.
What was your first celebrity crush? Was there an awakening? I don't mind this.
First conscious celebrity crush, as in first one that I had posters of, is potentially a little problematic now. It's Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. Most of the Backstreet Boys, to be honest. Yep. Or like the boys from Hanson.
Yes, a little bop.
But I've got to say, like, when I started watching, like, grown-up movies when I was younger, so when I watched Dirty Dancing for the first time, it was, I mean, we know, we've had an episode about how I literally dated someone because he reminded me of Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing.
That'll do it.
It's Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing, or maybe like a very early career Robert Downey Jr.
Right. Yeah, when he's
like Only You, like the Marissa Tomei movie where they're like going through Italy and he's just got beautiful puppy dog eyes, and it's probably because his pupils are so dilated from all the drugs he was on. This is the Ghost of Boyfriends Past.
Yes, hello. I'm Tom Harris. Elizabeth Bester sits next to me today.
Yes, we're normally across the table from each other, and there is a good reason why we are sitting next to each other. It's because this is the first time in this studio that we have had two guests on.
Two guests on two microphones. Not only that, they're fellow podcasters.
It's a bit exciting. I like having fellow podcasters in. So we have got KB and Aya from Hallmarked.
Hello. Guys.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you for coming on. Now, look, I'll give you a little bit of a background, readers. Now, you know me on this podcast as the woman who thinks love is a pile of shit, and that romance is bullshit, and I kind of like any kind of petty revenge on an ex story. You know, like I just don't love. However, what I do love is Hallmark Christmas movies, because they're just so bad and they're so good. And I don't know what it is about a highfalutin CEO woman traveling to the middle of nowhere to meet a Christmas tree farmer that makes my heart fucking sore. But it does. Now, girls, Hallmarked.
Yes.
Tell us.
It's a relatively new podcast. We've only started this year. We're up to episode 7.
Exciting.
And we started it because we've been housemates on and off for the last couple of years, and our favourite pastime together is to watch these terrible, trashy movies and hate them so much that we have to watch another one.
Yes.
So do you reckon our readers are familiar with the whole because it's its own category of film, right? It's not they're not rom-coms, are they? It's its own category.
It's like the Mills and Boone version of
but like movies. Even a little bit lighter than Mills and Boone, because Mills and Boone is very raunchy sexual, whereas this is very
none of that.
No.
It's like, okay, so it's the opposite of Mills and Boone.
It's like a trashy airport read of the movie. Yeah.
You might be lucky to get like the mid-movie kiss, and that always feels like, oh my god.
And there's usually like bells and whistles, literal bells, and probably literal whistles playing when it happens. I don't know what it is that has made these movies so fucking popular, but they're like, I was trying to explain to someone else the other day what they were, and they were like, why do you watch that shit? And I'm like, sometimes you feel like filet mignon, right? It's going to fill you up. It's a bit, sometimes you just want fairy floss. It's going to disappear instantly. It's full of sugar. It's probably not good for you, but fuck, it's good while it's there.
Yeah. And I think as creative people, watching something that you could have created better yourself really helps those endorphins.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So readers we're going to push you along to Hallmarked. That's the name of the podcast. What's the spiel? You watch are we calling them terrible? Are they
bad
terrible?
good. They're good bad. They're all of them.
We have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, we do.
That's what it is. And we will tell you the plot of the story. We'll have a bit of a rant.
Yes.
Because we're good at it.
Then we did we make sure that we have 3 nice things to say about it, because it can't all be negative.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be.
This
But
is the thing, though. When I talk about these movies, the trashier parts of it are the positives. Like that's the There have been. I have a bad Christmas movie day every year, and we pick our most awful line every year that we basically quote to each other back and forth and say each other. There's like 15, 20 people that come to this thing now. And the badder the dialogue, the badder the dialogue, the better it is.
Exactly.
we have our own catchphrase. Well, sure, we'll call it a
Put it on
catchphrase.
merch, guys.
Yeah, that's the plan. We just say it's not the worst. It's not the worst one we've seen, because we did get to a point of seeing the worst one so far, but there could be one worse than that. But most of them, it's not the worst.
Not the worst.
If they're not bad, they're just not good.
So are there attributes that a Hallmark movie must only set at Christmas ? Are there?
There are tropes.
Yeah.
No matter, it could be summer or Christmas.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
So sort of what we were going to talk about today, and that leads really well into it, is that I got the girls along because I thought we could discuss red flag tropes in Hallmark
fantastic.
movies.
Yes.
Which are generally the main tropes of all Hallmark movies.
Yeah, there are red flags. They happen. They're not seen. Then they are the end.
Now, I must confess, and it might surprise some readers, because on this show, I am, of 2 hosts, I am the more romantically inclined. I'm the more positive about love. But the rom-com and the Hallmark movie from there has never bothered me.
Tom,
It's never.
you live your romance. You don't need to watch it.
That's right. They've never appealed to me. I think growing up in the 90s with fucking Hugh Grant in every rom-com,
Yeah.
stammering his way
Hugh
through
Grant
everything.
is too good.
Get on with it.
No, Hugh Grant is too good for these movies. Like Hugh
yeah,
Grant
I'm
is
saying-
amazing. Like
Sorry,
those,
forgive me. I was saying I'm
you're
not
shooting way too high with
I'm
the
not
rom-coms.
I'm not a rom-com fan, which is up here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm
So come down to the trash heap where we are. So
I've
you've
never
never-
seen a Hallmark movie. I've never seen. I don't.
Have you never seen any of the recent Netflix ones?
no.
Like a
Princess Switch.
I've only got 80 years on this planet, okay, and that's if I'm lucky, desperately lucky. I just can't bring myself to sit down and for 2 hours.
Okay, so what Christmas
they're
movie
not
have
2
you seen?
hours.
No, they're at best an hour 30. At
Oh,
best.
God.
It's a
Still.
long hour 30 though. So.
Yes, exactly. I just don't. I
I'm
don't
going
know.
to go through a list of Christmas movies, and I'm sure you've watched one bad Christmas movie and not realised what it
Sure,
was.
I'm sure I have, but I'm also not a hate watch, like a anger watcher. Like I don't watch things.
I don't watch it. I
Like
can't
reality TV, do you ever sit down and put on a show and be like, I hate these people? Like my lady does,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know that you're sort of judging yourself against them, and it's making you feel better. I just don't do that. So for me, this is uncharted territory, ladies. That I need you to guide me through these Hallmark movies.
Sure.
We will gladly do it for you.
Literally could talk about this like every day.
We do.
Fantastic.
I mean, the ultimate number one red flag of all these movies, if we just launch straight into it, is that it is always a career-driven woman.
Yeah.
is
Every
the
time.
protagonist.
Yeah.
Every time,
Yep.
without fail. There will never be a male protagonist who has to give up his career in order to find love.
No, why would
Why
that
would
be?
there be?
Why would that? That would make
No.
sense.
And if the career-driven woman is single, oh my god. Why are you single? Why aren't you married
How are
yet?
you not happy
Very good.
yet?
Yeah, you're not happy because you're single.
Yeah, I feel that one.
That one does. It's all right. We're with you, Liz. We're all in the same boat. But she always has to go to a small town.
You have to.
You have to.
Big cities are not Christmas picturesque.
They're not picturesque.
No.
There's no single men.
No.
There's no flannel. How do you survive in a big
It's
city?
weird in a big city of 4 million people. There's no single men, but in a
Yeah.
country town of 20,000 people,
There's
a
one.
single man.
At
There's
least one, maybe two for a
one.
triangle.
Yeah.
Ooh. And that's what we were talking about in the car on the way here, is that quite often the woman is dating a complete douchebag, someone who's horrible in the big city. Truly one of the worst boyfriends you will ever see on screen every single time. But she's desperate for him to propose.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Desperate. That is all she's... And they go to dinner and she's ready for it every time. And he says they either broke up or he has a career opportunity that he has to move on to, or there's some reason why she has to go to a small town.
Yes. Yes.
or like emotionally cheat on
Yeah.
him, you know, because she'll probably stay with him, but emotionally fall in love. Well, not emotionally because it is falling in love.
Yeah.
But emotionally cheat by falling in love with the rando guy in flannel who
And the
loves
guy-
dogs. I don't know.
The second guy is always nearly the opposite of the man.
Always.
she's
Oh,
left
very
in the big
laid
city.
back.
And they'll probably hate each other, right?
Yes. I've learnt a new term today, guys. It's the meat ugly versus the meat cute.
I love it and hate it at the same time.
I beg so many pardons. Meets ugly.
Yes. Versus generally in a movie where there is a romantic relationship, you have a meet cute, right? Where they meet for the first time and it's a lovely moment and they fall in love.
yes, gotcha.
In Hallmark movies generally, or Hallmark adjacent movies, it's what they now are calling the meet ugly, which is where they hate each other instantly and then they
Yes.
fall in love later.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like someone falls over and is embarrassed and has coffee all over them and then falls in a big pile of poo and then the guy's just laughing and she's like, how dare you, I'm a big city girl, and storms off.
In her high heels in snow.
Yeah. And then they break in the snow and she's like not looking back because she's determined to not let the fact that she's covered in literal crap upset her today.
It's funny because sometimes they actually say things like, I'm the big city girl. like the one we watched recently, I'm a big city lawyer. It's like they literally say it.
I watched one recently and it had something to do with like someone trying to save a dog shelter, and the woman who they thought was the sad single old woman turned out to be actually the rich owner of the company and the himbo
course,
there.
yeah.
And she's like, I'm just a humble female CEO.
Yes.
I was like, man, like you could have sort of gotten away with it by saying humble CEO, but saying I'm just a humble female CEO, you just really drive
feel
the
like
point
that's
home that men wrote that movie.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And
Goodness.
so the first red flag, why won't you give up your job and find it? That's the first one we're entering.
Yeah.
And that's so true. That's pervaded in from society, and it's baffles me. Like, why aren't you having kids? There's 8 billion of us. We don't need more. Why do you
Yeah.
care?
We barely have enough future for ourselves, people.
And
Why
have
do
you
you
seen
give
the
it
cost of housing at the moment? I can't afford a house
Actually.
and a child.
I posted the other day that whenever there's something I really don't want to do at the moment, I just add in this economy to the end of it. And like with absolutely it works with anything. Hey, you're going to go to the grocery store today? The grocery
this.
store in this economy? You're going to wear nice shoes today? Nice shoes in this economy? I don't think so. Yeah.
Amazing. We're gonna take that and put it in our
Yeah,
pocket.
in this
We'll
economy.
use
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Do it.
So in these Hallmark films, does she always, our protagonist, does she always have to choose between her work and the new man? There is no, or does she sometimes get to have the career and hunky-dory?
It's mixed, right?
Sometimes it's normally, I find that the ones that I've watched recently, she's had to make the choice. She's chosen the guy and then whoops, coincidentally, she ends up with the amazing job anyway and it works out fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, that's
she,
true.
She fails up.
Yes.
So you still feel good about it.
Yeah.
But she still chose the man.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the company that she works with decides to restructure their whole business just to suit her
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to live in
Yeah.
a small
Or they'll
town.
open a division in the small town
yeah,
so
yeah,
that she
yeah.
can have both.
Or she'll decide that she wants to be a Christmas tree farmer as well.
Yes.
Or if she's like like an interior designer,
Yes.
the small town presents an opportunity to open up her own business in the small town.
right.
So
Yes, because famously, small town people are really good at interior design, and there's so many of them in a small town that she's sure to be in business forever and ever.
And
Yeah.
every time I drive through a small outback town in Australia, it's always butchers, bakery, interior design.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Just on
a
the main
landmark.
Yes. It's on Main Street every single time.
Yes. I think that's it. And she's always portrayed as uptight. She
Yes.
is always a workaholic or a perfectionist.
Yep.
Which is the complete opposite to the romantic male lead who is always laid back and cool,
Yes.
calm and collected, and everyone loves him because he is like the everyman.
Yeah, he's so chill, and you just need to learn to be chill, uptight, bitch.
literally,
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
And you know how you do that? You quit your big job.
yeah, yeah,
wear a bit of plaid or flannel, and your life changes forever.
yeah, yeah. Cowboy boots, you're set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
It is
So
wild.
wild.
That's one red flag covered. What else?
That's
what
kind
else
of like
gets
a
on?
bunch in
It
one.
is
yeah.
a huge red. Yeah.
The dating the douchebag just to get married.
Just to get married.
Yeah, true.
The
Forgive me.
family having a go at you. The big city uptight job lady.
Yeah.
The idea that the woman always has to be the one that
Yeah,
compromises
Mm.
is also kind of a running theme. Hallmark is very famously probably aligns more with conservative
Oh, yes.
ideals.
Well, yes, there was
So-
big dramas when certain actors in movies decided that they didn't want to be a part of. Was that Hallmark or was that Lifetime? I can't remember, but I thought it was Candace Cameron.
Yeah,
I think she was
left.
still with Hallmark at the time.
Yeah,
She left.
Yeah.
because and signed a contract with the other one because they were focusing on gay couples.
Yes.
Or not even focusing, just putting a gay couple
Yeah,
in a
right.
movie, and she's
Yeah.
like, "This goes against my values." Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big,
Fair enough, I
red
suppose.
flags also in the industry of
Yes,
making.
yeah.
Yes.
Hallmark can be a bit of a red flag.
Look, we were talking just before the mics went on. You said that they take 2 weeks to film
Yeah.
one of these. That's a big red flag.
Yeah. That is a very quick shooting schedule.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half film.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good job, I guess.
Well, can
That's
you
intense.
imagine? I've often thought watching these, I'd be like, Jesus, I'd love to work in one of
Right?
these movies. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just Christmas all the time.
Yes.
And it's constantly 2 weeks of dating someone new.
Exactly. And you get to be in Canada. So, like, a win-win all around.
I mean, our aim is like to write one of these
Yeah.
so we can go and do this.
Do it.
Yeah.
100%. I think one of the big flags, big red
They're red
flags,
ones.
Yeah.
all the flags. The declaration of love.
Yes.
After like 5 days,
Yes.
7 days. I love you.
There
No,
we
you
go.
don't. You
Yeah.
really don't. What's wrong with you? Why are you saying that only a couple of days in?
If someone told me they loved me after 5 days, I would inquire into their mental health. What is wrong with you to fall in love with me in 5 days?
Exactly.
Who
And
does
day
that?
one, you hated me.
Yeah.
So how did we get to
We
here?
spent 50% of our time not liking each other, and that's 2 days.
The hate, I understand, but how did we get from there to love?
And also, some of them go straight from not only big declarations of love, but engaged
Yes.
or married by the end. Like, if
Yeah.
they're royal, they're married by the end of the
married.
movie.
Oh, yes.
That's the rule, right? Like, if there's a royal involved, you're going to be engaged or married because you can't just date a royal.
No.
Yeah, it's wild. And then I also the communication around all of those moments, because there will always be a misunderstanding before the declaration of love.
Yes.
Has to be a
People just
Has
would
to be a
fucking communicate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No talking about it.
No.
They would just storm off to their own rooms like children.
And quite often someone will say either it's not what it looks like or you've got the wrong idea and nobody sticks around to find out what it is supposed to look like or what the right idea is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times in the last couple of weeks we have yelled at the TV. It's been like, just talk to each other. Just talk.
Yeah.
No,
That's
no.
honestly pretty much if we had a catchphrase on this podcast, it's usually just fucking communicate.
Yeah.
Like, just communicate. Just talk.
Truly, communication, guys. Big
Yeah.
advocate for it.
Fixes so many problems.
Not in a Hallmark.
No.
No.
No. Well, because you don't realize that you're in love with someone unless you have a big ass fight before you say it.
Yeah.
Too.
Or even, some of them haven't even been fights. They've been like, we have a disagreement. Like, we have different opinions and therefore we no longer are speaking to each other. And that seems problematic.
I feel like that does not bode well for the rest of their relationship at all. At all.
But they love each other, so it's fine.
Oh, love fixes everything, guys.
I don't know. It just like the fact that they go from like 0 to 100 so quickly, and that relationship's going to be over so
Very
It's
soon.
going to go back to zero very,
Oh.
very, very quick.
Yeah.
very quick.
Yeah, and you're going to be jobless in a small town,
Yeah.
bitch. So maybe don't quit your job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She's going to be resentful.
Yep.
Be like, you made me do this because he did.
I want to see, this is the movie I want you to write.
Okay.
And it's
We're
on the
writing it down.
podcast. I want you to write the After the Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Like
can
what
do it.
happens
But
after
is it-
Hallmark.
but in a cliche way.
Up to you. You can
We'll
take
write
the
many
piss.
drafts.
You can actually have it be, rose-colored glasses and then cutting to rainy grayscale bullshit that happens in real life, like whatever. But I want to see after the Hallmark movie.
Guys, trademark before anyone steals that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, literally, we will fight you. I feel like we did kind of watch a movie like that, where it was the after, what was it? Love Strikes Twice.
Oh, yeah. Do you want a problematic Hallmark film?
Oh, please.
I mean, it's not Hallmark, it's Mar Vista.
Which is their rival. But she loses her memory and her fiance her husband, who she has divorced, pretends that they're still together and it basically
So
traps
it's like
her in the
Overboard,
house.
which is problematic as fuck as well.
But the movie starts off there, he's so romantic and they fall in love and they get married. And then literally for the rest of the movie, it's how terrible their relationship is and how much of an asshole he is to her.
And no one in her circle of anyone says, hang on, you're
Not even her parents.
Her parents encouraged it. Her parents were like,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
don't tell her.
Yeah.
You'll never end up together if you tell her the truth.
Yeah.
So the relationship or a relationship is more important than separate individual happiness.
I would
Yes.
rather someone take advantage of my daughter than for her to be single.
Yes.
Yeah. That was the worst. That
was the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty
That was the one where we said, guys, this is the worst movie
is too
we've
far.
ever seen.
But he was a walking red flag. 100%.
Like hiding her phone so she didn't realize she had a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stalking her, making sure she didn't go to her work or find out where she worked.
Big red flags. In that one.
It's because she had a successful business and he was at home playing PlayStation, trying to figure out how to have his own successful business. So
Is this character,
real mad, guys.
this
gonna
husband
lie.
character, is he in the films? Is he framed as a decent or good, or do you
Like
want
he
to?
just made some mistakes and now
Yeah,
there's a
it's-
chance to right
Are we
the small
semi-
mistake he made.
Are we being led to root for this, or are we forgiving these actions, or what?
I think now that we're in our 30s,
Yes.
there was no chance we were ever going to be on his side. But had we watched this movie maybe in our early 20s,
And also maybe 10 years ago when we didn't
When
know
we
as
didn't-
much
yeah.
as we know
I
now
would
about
say
coercive
that.
control and
of
stalking.
course.
yeah.
I mean, this movie was very much coercive control. Yeah. This movie was like 2017. I don't know. What was 2017 like?
it's
only 6 years
different.
ago,
yeah,
7 years.
it's not old enough for it to be like writers didn't know better.
2017, like just
Yeah.
pre-Me Too.
Yeah.
Like just.
Maybe they were making a point. I don't know. I don't think they're doing anything
See,
political.
I watched a very similar film, but it was actually a horror about someone who had amnesia and then someone who was pretending to be her husband. But it was a fucking horror movie. Like it was a psychology. I mean, it was one of those terrible Hallmarky style movies.
Yeah.
It was called Secret Obsession, and it was someone who had a crush on someone from work. So when she was an amnesiac, he pretended that they were married, and she's like, oh, look at this lovely wedding album where his face is like 5 shades lighter than mine and clearly has been photoshopped, but I'm just going to go look how beautiful we looked on our wedding day. Yeah.
This one could have been a horror.
But it's the same movie. And yet one of them has red flags, rose-colored glasses on, and the other one is literal music in the background.
But she goes back to him. Like,
Yeah, in
they're
the
fine. They renew their vows.
yeah, when she discovers that he's been lying to her the whole time and basically
How romantic.
making her have a house arrest on her own court. Yeah, we were just like,
No, too far. Bridge too far.
Teaching, I don't know who's watching this movie, like young, impressionable women that you can go back to this kind of relationship.
and men to say this is
This
an
is
absolutely okay way to
It's
behave.
okay because it will all work out.
You
And
want to play video games all day? Do it as long as you don't let your girlfriend have a career.
Yeah, that's right. That was going to be my question. Obviously, everyone in this room, you'll watch these Hallmark movies for a bit of fun poking and for catharsis and all that. But there will be a percentage of people that generally like them and want to and enjoy them. And
100%.
are these films positive or negative? Are they harming the people that are watching it? Are there so many red flags as we've listed?
I would say they're
would say
harming
yes.
the people
Yes,
that
for
are
both.
watching it. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I do love them.
Yes.
I don't like. I love how bad they are. That movie, it sounds like I would hate.
You would
Yes.
hate it.
And I've realised
Yes.
in the last,
Go
because
home and
I've
watch
had
one.
my bad Christmas movie day. It's basically we watch terrible Christmas movies from 9 a.m. till like 9, 10 p.m. and people can drop in and drop out as the day goes on. I've started to realise that the Christmas movies that I like the most have some kind of mystical, supernatural element to it, so that like Santa, taps his nose and all of a sudden she's got a new family and she has to figure out how to get back to her old life, or because that's like, this couldn't really happen.
Yeah.
I think the ones where it's like, this could really happen, I'm like, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, no, they're definitely targeting a certain type of person in America, to be honest. And
but even though I know they're harmful, they're still chicken soup to my soul. What the
Yeah.
fuck is wrong
I
with
think,
us?
though, we talk about it, right? Though
Yeah.
we're like, that's insane. We know that
Yeah.
that's insane.
I
we know
love
it's-
how insane this
we
is.
know it's insane and that it's not real and that we would never hopefully
put up.
totally put ourselves in that kind of situation. But there would be people who are like, I want a relationship like that. I would love to meet someone like that.
I do love the TikToks of women who go to like small countries, small towns in like Canada and go like, where are the men?
I'm standing in a Christmas tree farm. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm wearing
Hello.
flannel.
Are you going to come? Oh, wait, it's not my first love. So it can't be. Can't be. It has to be my very first boyfriend and nothing else.
Yeah, no. What other red flag?
That one
was
is a
just
big one for me.
That was a very no for me on my first boyfriend.
Truly. And that's the thing, right? Most firsts are good in some ways and not very good in a lot of other ways.
Yeah.
So to have this trope of generally when they go back to, it's a hometown, small town, they are reunited with their first love or their first crush, and then it's happily ever after. And yes, two people have grown separately and maybe there is a chance for that. But the idea that first love is true love if the wrong people are watching this film
Yeah,
can be a massive red flag, because then they'll just stick around, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Put up with a lot of shit because, sunk cost fallacy. You got to keep putting in good money after bad, good time after bad for people, because true love, you guys, it's true.
It's true.
Sometimes, but definitely not all the time.
No. What other red flags we got?
No one goes to therapy.
No one goes to therapy.
They all have these like issues, and the wife leaving the main guy on Christmas Day, and yet they're talking about this for the first time to the girl who they're gonna fall in love with.
Yeah.
It's like, why haven't you spoken to anyone else?
Yeah.
Why?
Ever.
What?
Ever.
And then, it obviously does, affect their life. They hate Christmas because of all this stuff that's
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
But they
right,
haven't
right.
spoken to anyone about,
They've bottled it
like,
all in.
they're now Christmaphobes because, our favourite word.
It's our favourite word.
They're wild like that. And no one, it's just talk to someone. It's okay.
Yeah.
They
Just fucking communicate and maybe to a professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely back to the whole communication, but to,
Get
the
therapy.
professional rather than
Get therapy.
Yeah.
Work through why you hate Christmas.
Yeah.
And maybe,
Yeah.
just maybe, everything will be okay.
Yeah, and not to bring up Love Strikes Twice again, but like she went in to get the way the divorce okay, no, we're not going to talk about it. But the way she just quickly went, we're getting a divorce. But he didn't really know that they weren't okay. Like they didn't go to couples therapy, or like even she didn't just go to therapy herself or anything like
I
that.
don't understand. Like surely by the time you say, I want a divorce, you've talked
To someone.
to anyone.
To the person,
To the person that you're
getting
divorcing.
Yeah. And then the person who's going, oh shit, is she going to leave me? Should go, maybe we should go speak to someone and sort this
Yeah,
out.
not like hangdog expression, okay, walks out of the room, no, I hate Christmas.
And I will hate Christmas forever. Jump to a year later.
I know we're asking for like extra lines in a movie and like maybe extra like scenes, but like
I
don't
feel
know.
like they probably pay the actors per line and probably can't afford it with a 2-week shooting schedule. Yeah. There's not enough time to go to therapy in 2 weeks, guys.
But there would be, because there's so many scenes in those movies that you could easily cut, and I would gladly watch a therapy scene.
Yeah,
That would
look,
be nice.
this is the thing. I think you need to write a realistic
We do.
bad Christmas movie as well. There are two things that are my big red flags, and they're not romantic red flags. They're
Yeah.
just, this is some bullshit red flags. Is that number one, as a journalist, I am particularly offended by every depiction of a journalist
Yes.
in any Hallmark or Hallmark adjacent movie.
Yes.
Very fair.
Because the headlines are always like absolute garbage. Or the people who are like, I'm a designer, and they open up the clip artiest bullshit that you have ever seen and be like, I'm going to submit my ideas to the big magazine lady now, and it's fucking Microsoft Paint.
They're my favorite.
Oh my God. Or like the notes that are like, he wears shoes.
Yes.
But, okay, if you had to submit an article on Christmas Eve,
yes,
would you say that job? I'd be like, fuck off. Like, I'm with my family.
The amount of
on
big
Christmas
stories.
Day.
Have you never worked in the media? I worked Christmas Day for years.
Okay,
They do. We don't. So we would get extra time off because we had to work. Like, we'd get rostered on Christmas.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, doing the New Year's Eve shift was a real bummer, guys.
But what about
2 a.m.
if it's not media? What if it's interior design?
Okay, so no one has an interior design emergency on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing. It comes up with the other trope that always shits me is that people getting like, oh, the main character has to step in because somehow this massive thing that should have been done has not been done. For example, one that I watched recently where local boutique clothing store owner has to step in and design the costumes for an entire movie the day of shooting because the costume designer has quit.
Yep.
And she just is going to use all the clothes that she's designed and clear a whole store out. So, but like, what movie gets to the day of shooting with no fucking costumes? Not even a, okay, we just need someone to be a seamstress or a sewer to make these.
Yeah.
There's been no wonder that designer got fired. They did nothing.
There's nothing in that trailer.
No.
Which would never happen.
No.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Or like a big business pitch must be made on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, see that working Christmas Eve is one thing, but making a big pitch, like basically the whole week of Christmas, like yes, you're doing your job, but also nothing matters.
Yeah. Obviously, yes, media,
like it matters
for sure, but like not.
No, basically you won't send an email or a pitch or anything that you want to be read by anybody. That's not news that's happening in the world that's really important. You don't send emails on Christmas week at all.
But I wonder if that's just like an Australian thing. And I don't know, do Americans work differently? They,
To our American listeners, and we have them,
Amazing.
do you work right up to Christmas?
Yeah.
Do you have to give major pitches on Christmas? Or is it kind of like that whole, yes, you're working Christmas week, but also everyone's kind of checked out and is already with their families?
I would hazard that in America, where your health insurance is tied to your job, and they say they can bend you over the barrel and have you work whenever they want you to. And there's more corporate cocksucking going on in America, I think. Slightly more. There's more of a capitalism,
Well,
earn
most
the
of
money,
my
make the money,
full-time
get in.
working friends were like, you get 4 weeks off a year? That's
Yeah.
incredible. And I'm like, 4 weeks is nowhere near enough. What do you mean?
We need way more than that. Every American I've ever met has been very surprised by a 4-week.
Yeah,
leave.
2 weeks has been the sort of standard for full-timers that I've heard, which is just...
Not enough.
I'm already burnt out just thinking about it.
Yeah. Which makes me think that maybe they do actually work up until like big decisions are being made.
Can you write in ghostofboyfriendspast@gmail.com if you are in the US? How close to Christmas do you work, and how important is the shit that you do around Christmas? Like, is it crucial? Is it business critical?
Yes.
Or is it faffing about until you get to go home to your families?
Yeah, we need to know because that comes up on our
Inquiring
episode.
minds must know.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just making fun of this trip for no reason. We're just making fun of you, Americans.
I mean, whatever. Regardless, it's in every movie. Like, it's a cliche, and it just if it's real cute, but if it's not, whatever.
But yeah, like almost uniformly, even the CEOs who are great at their job are actually terrible at their job if you objectively look at the way that they're doing their jobs. Like, it's rare that you see someone competently do a job in a Hallmark movie, unless it's Christmas tree farming. Because that's a sustainable living.
The other day we watched a movie that the Christmas tree farmer wouldn't deliver the Christmas trees unless they paid him more money, until the girl that he had a crush on came in, and then delivery was free.
Christmas tree ransom. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Blackmail. I love it.
I know. Look, all of the red flags. My particular red flag that is, I guess, pretty niche is that when a kid plays matchmaker for their parent, because the child then is also thinking mum or dad is not happy unless they are in a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, and the fact that
Nice.
a kid is panicking enough to try and set their parents up in the first place and has any kind of idea that that's going to make anyone happy is worrying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
truly. And I'm like, it's okay. Calm down. Be a kid.
Yeah.
Go play in the snow.
Yeah.
There are other things you can be doing than trying to find older gentlemen for your mother to date.
Oh. Kids, if you're listening, do not go and approach older gentlemen so that your mum cannot be sad and single.
Yeah. Christmas is
Probably a bit
fine on your own.
dangerous.
Yeah. But I don't know if I have any more.
I guess I had.
Are there positives to come from these films? Are there
yes.
nice moments? Are there nice things to learn and to take in if you're watching as a fan and you like these things? So there are. It's not just a total tidal wave of red flags.
I mean, a lot of movies have dogs in them.
I was just about to say that's always my go-to
Gotta be a
like
dog.
positive is a dog. That's cute.
And it is a celebration of a lot of different Christmas traditions. Sometimes they don't make sense in the storyline. Sometimes we get Danish traditions for no reason until the end of the film when they're all explained.
Yeah.
Or we're staying in a bed and breakfast kind of deal where she will make every kind of cuisine from every facet of the world because they all have their own Christmas traditions. That's really nice to watch.
I guess I just like the warmth of Christmas in general.
Yeah.
And we were saying this before off mic as well, is that I've watched a couple, because normally I restrict myself right from November, December only is when I watch these movies, but you know, like COVID was real hard, guys. and I started leaking them into January, February. Let's just say I may have watched one a couple of weeks ago. But it reminds me of Christmas time, which is usually chill and happy.
Yeah.
And I also do like, even though they may be some of the red flaggy discoveries, sometimes I enjoy watching someone realize the meaning of insert something here. No, that
Yes.
sounds really bad. Nope. I like watching people discover the meaning of blank.
Yes, much better. And the inserting might happen off camera. We don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But it definitely doesn't happen on camera as we discussed.
Absolutely not. I think I don't think I've actually ever said this as a positive, but just like the whole community feel, you know, I would love to live in a small town because everyone's just so supportive and everyone rallies together to save the bakery or something.
Do you know,
like that.
watching anyone rally together for something in this economy, yes, it is impressive and heartwarming.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So with this, so there's
Zane's, see today because I'm on Zane's mic, he's got no mic and I've just seen him put his hand up. Did you
Banished
want to
him
say
to the-
something?
to the-
No,
Banished
no, we've banished him to the corner. Bad producer.
Sorry,
Naughty.
Zane, that's our fault.
I was trying to articulate a thought. Are they? So there's these films are more bad, like negative than good in terms of what the messages they're showing people. Are we asking them to change?
No.
Are we asking them to show better messages, or are we just like, yep, let the kids who are these young kids or
You're making me feel bad about my hobby, Tom.
Are we? Should that?
It's a
or
shared hobby.
I think
You go.
I was going to say, I think if anything, Hallmark might change a bit. Just that they're a bit more open and they're slightly more conservative and like family
There's gay
oriented.
people in them now.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I don't think you want them to change because, you know, people love them for what they are, but I think they just need to be sometimes a bit more, oh God, realistic. That life's not fair, but just like we don't have to put these like societal pressures on people, particularly women. Like it's okay to show
I want
something.
the reverse.
I want the reverse.
Yeah, KB and I were talking when we were trying to organise this episode, and we want the reverse of a small town country boy goes to the big city and realises that his Christmas tree farm hobby is not realistic as a job and becomes a successful CEO.
Yeah.
Or like just basically take any trope in a Hallmark
And
movie,
just flip
reverse it and feed it to me. I will eat that shit up.
Except we don't want parents finding like partners for their children.
No.
So we won't reverse that
Inappropriate.
trope.
Yeah, no.
Every other trope,
Get out.
And that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still bring a certain level of I don't know, serotonin,
yeah.
endorphins. They are written to do that. The formula works.
Yeah, it's the difference of a meat and 3 veg and fairy floss. Yeah. You know, like there's absolutely no nutritional value in the fairy floss, and it disappears real quick. But it's good. It tastes good. It's sugary. Leaves you on a little bit of a high.
Yeah.
empty calories, whatever.
And we will rant about them for days. In every episode, we will continue to rant, but we will continue to watch them.
Yeah.
Because we
I
do
know.
love them.
I reckon we need to get our collective brains together and set Tom some homework of actually watching
Yes.
a particular Hallmark movie, maybe with his lovely lady friends.
I'll do rom-coms. I will do rom-coms, but the
This
Hallmark
is-
film, I can't.
But if you make it like a drinking game, do you,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't drink.
if you make it,
I take heroin. I'll take
Make it a
heroin
heroin
every time. that-
Well, it's one of those things though, like there was one that I watched recently about a girl who she was TikTok famous and she had to make content a certain number of subscribers by Christmas Eve, and she was doing Christmas live with her family, and she basically screwed her own family over because she was pretending to be married to this guy, and so they all had to spend their Christmas with her to make her famous. But the magical element is that some grotty street Santa was like, oh, you better live a better life. And all of a sudden she's reliving Christmas over and over again until she can figure out, she's like, oh, maybe I'm reliving Christmas because I fucked up my live stream. No, it's because you don't care about humans.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you need to care about humans. And so, like, when they've got that kind of mystical, like, you have to ground it, like Groundhog Day Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, that's those kind of ones, I think would probably be more up your alley than straight romance.
Do not get
romance.
me wrong. I've never been a guy to be like, oh, those are for girls and that's girls things. I'm yuck. I'll do it. I'll do it.
There's
Give me a list.
Netflix
give me 5.
one that I quite enjoyed
give
with
me 5. All right.
5, Tom.
I'll do 5.
Wow.
Not today. Good lord.
We're locking you in. Lock the
5
door,
over the
Zane.
next 5 over the next decade. No, and then
5
I'll,
over the decade.
I'll come back and share my findings with Elizabeth and
Well, you guys can jump onto our podcast.
this
We'll
is the
review
thing.
it.
This is the thing. So yeah, we can watch a movie, perhaps together, Tom, so that we
Yeah.
can both make fun of it, and
then we'll
come
come and-
talk about it on
Yeah.
Hallmarked.
yeah,
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good.
We're going to force you into this.
I already volunteered myself, so now we're dragging Tom, kicking and screaming. How often do you guys release eps at the moment?
At the moment, we release fortnightly on a Monday, so we just released one
yesterday.
yesterday. Whenever this comes out, you will find multiple episodes, I'm sure.
So this will be coming out Thursday, literally.
Great. Okay. Amazing. So,
yes,
Monday of this week that you may be listening to this episode or not.
And what movie did you do for this week?
Let It Snow.
Oh, I've
Candace
seen that
Cameron
one.
Bure.
Yes.
lay tits now.
Yeah.
That's what I kept thinking every
Yes.
time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's the only really one available on Stan Australia.
Yes.
Which is a bit sad.
There's a lot of them on Stan.
Not specifically Hallmark.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
So what other companies?
Well,
what
there's
other
Lifetime.
productions?
You have Lifetime, you have Mar Vista, you have Stan Originals, you have Netflix,
Netflix.
Originals, you
So it's
have.
prob-
It's
oh,
a
what's the-
I
barrage.
feel like you need to just call it Hallmark and then just
we have
Yeah.
already
We do.
branched out.
I think
some by
I
accident.
think culturally,
I feel like-
if someone says it's a Hallmark film, they know that it's a specific
It's like
time.
when people
I think
say,
Yeah.
"Get me a Band-Aid." It's
Yes.
not "Get me a what is it? A plaster?
Yes.
ditto Velcro.
Yeah, like well, it's the name.
Yeah.
Get out the Hoover. Like, well, not so much anymore, but that's what they used to say
Yeah.
when vacuums weren't all Dysons.
Yeah, still called
That's
Hoover.
true.
We'll change it now. Get
Yeah.
out the Dyson, people.
Yeah. No, we're not sponsored by Dyson. Give us your money, Dyson, and then we'll say get a Dyson.
I take it back. Yeah. Well, this is exciting.
Thank you so much for, like, normally we'd go into the what have we learned, but I feel like we've been talking about what
Yes,
we've
it's
learned for
been
the
one
entire
big
podcast.
we
What
learned.
have you learned?
Well, Tom, having never
Tom,
seen a Hallmark,
yes. What have you learned today?
I've learned that these films are actually quietly more sinister and negative and bad for people than they are. Liz said there's your steak and vegetables, which is lovely, and there's also your fairy floss, which is very sugary. That's fine if you know that it's sugary, but if you're a 16-year-old kid and you don't know that it's
Yeah.
that you're just eating sugar nonstop, that's probably going to be damaging somewhere.
Yeah, but look, if you eat sugar nonstop as a kid, adulthood is going to be difficult for you. That's just like just happens. That's life.
So I
it's
don't know.
a trap.
I'm torn
Get
between.
over it.
I'm torn between like a frivolous like pointing and laughing at these things, and also are all the messages happy and healthy for not just we're all in our 30s. We're wise adults, you know.
I've just thought of another trope that
Trope it up.
Yeah, there's always a dead parent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's almost always a dead parent. And then I felt really bad because we were like, okay, who is it? Dead mum or dead dad? Dead mum or dead dad? And I forgot that one of the people who was at my party's mother had actually passed away 2 years ago. And I was like, no, I can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's usually a parent missing and they started hating Christmas because of that parent being missing or like there's some kind of, but yeah, like I think that it's like any movies though, like any movie can be harmful if you don't know how real life works.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I like watching the Christmas ones more than the normal romances because there's a slight bit of fantasy ridiculousness.
Yes.
And there's sleigh bells. Like no one takes anything seriously when there's sleigh bells.
Yeah, well, I'll expand that to all kind of films, TV. There's can be damaging. I mean, superhero films for young men with dehydrated bodies to get that cut like
Truly.
8-pack to get those bodies. They're dehydrated.
Yeah.
They're
And they have
millionaires.
a big budget film.
They can do it. But so yes, right across all media, there are damaging influences that we can.
We've just got to get the message out as much as we can on this podcast to just fucking talk to each other.
Yes.
Communicate. That's the best thing you can do is to communicate. And the more that you communicate and the more that you talk about your relationship, not just talk to your partner, but talk about your relationship. If there's any shit going on that's a little not above board or that's perhaps borderline abusive or perhaps not so great, one of your tough love friends is going to call you the fuck out on it. This shit thrives in the shadows and everyone just needs to talk more. If everyone talks more about stuff, there's going to be no more bad stuff.
Truly. If you feel icky about something, your gut is usually right.
Yeah.
So follow the ickiness.
Yeah. Unless you have major baggage and you're panicking. No, I've just spiraled myself into a hole now.
Still communicate.
Still talk.
Yeah.
Like even if you're freaking out, like just tell a therapist.
Yeah.
And not even in your romantic endeavors.
Yeah.
Though if you can be a better communicator across the board, your life will improve in your workplace, with your family, with your friends, everyone. It's not just learn how to communicate with your partner or whoever you're dating right now. It will open up your life in an incredible way. So yes, work on your communication skills, everyone. Question, ladies. Are these Hallmark films Christmas movies? Or love, or what is the one romance? Is it what's the? Is
All
it just
of the
all?
above.
Is
Yeah,
it just,
all.
That's the category. Just all.
Basically, made for TV movies.
Yes.
I
If
think
it comes
that-
under a category, it would be that. I guess.
Yeah, because you will 100% never see one of these in a cinema.
Oh,
There's
no.
Unless it is
I've
the
hired out the
Queensland production company, Steve Jaggy company, who has had their premieres in cinemas or theatres.
Yes, look, I'm into that. I'm into that very much so. But yes, like if it's traditional, if it's an actual Hallmark movie,
TV only.
nah, it's made
Straight
it's
to-
midday movie quality.
Yes. Understood.
Yeah. It's a very special, you're homesick, you've just finished watching Ready, Steady, Cook back in the day, or like,
Passions hasn't come on yet.
no, it's the midday movie time and it's either going to be some kind of twisted, obsessive thriller or it's going to be the Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Now we're going to be cool. We're going to be cool podcasters and tell our readers to go and check out Hallmarked.
Please
all right?
do.
You've already landed on this one. All right. We've got your love and support.
Thank you.
Go and check out Hallmarked. All right. You don't have to stay. Check
You
it out.
don't.
All right.
I mean,
Not
be
all
nice to
Yeah,
say.
I'm not telling
stay
them.
for a few.
And then
Do you announce what movies you're going to be doing so that people can potentially watch along or critique with you?
Yeah, we always pop it on our Instagram, which you can find at Hallmarked Pod.
And we will have all of these in the show notes because you will send them to us after this, I'm sure.
We will. Everything's Hallmarked Pod. We've tried to make it very easy for everyone to find us. And we usually post that. We try and post it a week before.
Yeah.
Depending on, life and
Life is
schedules.
hard, you guys.
But you will always know what movie we are watching and where to find it.
Yes.
Right. What streaming service.
And we try to make it like we're not going to say get a VPN and watch it. Like it's going to be somewhere.
I found that a lot of in Australia, a lot of the like 7 Bravo and 9 Now
Has a
and-
lot.
Yeah, they've got a lot.
Yeah.
Like because they're made for TV movies, you
Yeah.
guys. I just figured this out. because they're
amazing.
TV stations, you know.
Yeah.
Before streaming, Grandma Liz over here, there was a time.
One we're going to watch soon is on 9 now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, the one that I was recommending to you guys, A Christmas Movie Christmas, is
Also
on 9 now.
Can you,
True.
of the episodes that or the films that you've seen so far, what's one that you're like, yep, everyone, this is ridiculous recommendation for everyone?
Our top one
to watch
so far?
it, like,
So far.
and
Like
kind
to
of enjoy
actually
it.
watch this.
Sit down and watch it, yeah.
Return to Christmas Creek is probably our favourite so far on
Yeah.
Return to
Netflix.
Christmas
I
Creek.
did hear about that, and then we were discussing on my Bad Christmas Movie Day whether there was an original Christmas Creek or whether it was just that starts at Return to Christmas
Well,
Creek.
she's returning to
Right.
Christmas
Yeah,
Creek.
she's returning. And then
Disappointed there wasn't a Christmas Creek original.
There's Mike Ruggles, who's the hot
He's
dude
our
in
ultimate
plaid
leading man so
in
far.
flannel. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
he's
Well, we'll
great.
watch out for that one. Thank you so much for coming on our
Yes.
podcast.
Thank you
We
for
look
having
forward
us.
to assaulting you guys with our opinions on your podcast at another time.
We cannot wait.
Guys, if you are listening at home and you love Christmas movies or you hate them, write in. Tell us what your favourites are and why. Tell us which ones you think that we should recommend to the Hallmarked girls, because we will most definitely do it.
Yeah, let us know the tropes you can't stand in romantic films.
Or
I mean, we've
you
touched on
love
them.
and
Or
you know
love, yeah, you can't
makes
get
you
enough.
not a good feminist for actually... This is, if I was ever on the podcast, a guilty feminist, mine would be, I'm a feminist, but... I love Christmas Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
I love them.
We're with you.
Yep. Well, I'm just going to leave you with the thought, dear readers, that if you ever get the opportunity to go back home and date a guy who thinks that a Christmas tree farm is a really good business opportunity and he wears a lot of flannel and you actually make a shitload of money, maybe don't quit your job. It's probably not the best idea.
Yeah.